Sam Chalanga from 13 years ago has the collegiate record. Patrick Deaver of Tulsa with the meet record. There is Dylan Jacobs, a favorite, no doubt. The defending champion from Tennessee, finally a senior. Like everything else, 24 athletes in the field.
You mentioned Dylan Jacobs, the defending champion, won it last year with Notre Dame, grad transfer to the University of Tennessee, followed his Notre Dame coach Sean Carlson to Knoxville to compete his final year of eligibility with the Volunteers.
Laps of this 400-meter oval. 81 degrees, 61% humidity. Not ideal conditions for a 10,000 meters. So we'll have to see how the pace shakes out as you see the competitors go by. Our list of competitors. 12 from the East Regional at Jacksonville, Florida 2 weeks ago, and 12 from Sacramento 2 weeks ago on the West Regional, as we quickly shift over to the men's pole vault with Guttormson of Princeton on the runway once again after one miss at 19 feet and a quarter inch, a height he must clear because he passed the previous height. And that is basically a no vault again. Something's going on down there, and he hasn't figured it out. So that's two misses where he didn't even go for the bar. He has one remaining and a no fooling around height of 19 feet a quarter inch. He is in jeopardy of not placing.
First lap, 65.8 over that opening 400 meters.
So pretty honest as you see the field stringing out reasonably well. Jacobs winning the 5,000 meters at the conference meet 3.5 weeks ago in Baton Rouge, where it wasn't quite this hot, but it was humid. We had thunderstorms all in the area, so a higher humidity, but not the heat.
Also in good position, you're seeing right there in third, very tall, wearing the dark red. That is Patrick Kiprop of the University of Arkansas. Well familiar with battling Dylan Jacobs, certainly. Also behind him, that's Victor Kiprop of Alabama. And Dwight, I know you mentioned that Dylan Jacobs is a favorite, but there are so many guys that could win this championship. You're seeing right there two different Stanford athletes, certainly in that conversation. There's Kai Robinson up there, and then also, of course, Charles Hicks, who is the NCAA cross-country champion. Pretty consistent, another 65.8, so that's 27.25 pace currently to this point of the race. Dylan Jacobs looking really comfortable, sitting in about fifth position from what we can tell right here. And in talking with Sean Carlson, his coach, earlier today, he said, we're very aware that it does not get easier to win another title. If anything, it gets harder to replicate such a special performance. But Dylan Jacobs is certainly a very special athlete, and one of the things that they noted was how the team tactics would come into play. We saw that indoors over 5,000 meters with Northern Arizona and how they utilized each other. So interesting to see how you're going to see a couple of athletes working together with their teammates. Also worth noting, that is Isai Rodriguez of Oklahoma State, who you just saw those bright orange shorts, really easy to identify. 66.1, so they've slowed just ever so slightly on that last lap as things are beginning to stretch out.
So still under 27:30 pace if they maintain this.
Here goes Rodriguez. This is much like he ran at the preliminary meet. He gets really anxious and likes to move for the front. His coach, Dave Smith, said that he was advising him to wait until a couple K into the race to make a move. Instead, he waited one lap to do so. So that's Isai Rodriguez in third currently.
Over to the pole vault very quickly. Hunter Garrettson of Arizona, third attempt at 19 feet a quarter, so he is out. Currently in second, having made the previous height on his second attempt. In fact, he had a miss at every height that he attempted, but he is in second place. Kyle Redemeyer of South Alabama still the leader, and that is going to take us down to Sondrik Tormsen as we get back to the 10,000 with just less than 21 laps remaining. They threw in a 65.3 lap on that last tour.
It's been James Mora from Gonzaga leading the majority of the race to this point, as I do believe that's Rodriguez moving now up into the pole position. Dylan Jacobs comfortably sitting there in fifth. And Isai Rodriguez had a turbulent 2022. He was involved in a fiery rollover crash. He was in the passenger seat. Former Oklahoma State wrestler and his good friend AJ Ferrari was driving. Attempted to pass three vehicles on a two-lane wet road and met a pickup truck head on. Oklahoma State coach Dave Smith said he didn't even know how those two survived, and really the trauma was more mental than the physical injuries that Isai Rodriguez endured.
Okay, a seminal moment in the career of this young man, Sondrik Tormsen, the senior from Princeton. Passed at the last height, 18.8 and a quarter, so doesn't get that as a recorded clearance. Second attempt at his opening height, so that puts him out of scoring. He must clear this third and final attempt at 19 feet a quarter inch, and he's really had two vaults where he did not go for the bar. Strange conditions down there. As you get close to the box, it gets quite a bit darker, and we don't know what's happening with the wind. It looks like a tailwind, but Dan, because of that, those stands, I think you get a swirling effect.
All right, where the tents come in beyond the pit, there are some changes.
Yeah, you can see he's completely disoriented. That's scary because he came very close to landing in the box. He cannot believe what's just happened. An event he absolutely certainly should have been in contention to win. And now he will not even place. So that'll be Kyle Redemeyer of South Alabama. I should correct myself. He is going to get tied for sixth. But believe me, for him, tie for sixth is the same as not placing. Redemeyer is going to win this event, and he has one attempt remaining. He doesn't have to clear it to win because he cleared the last height. He was the only vaulter to clear the last height on his first attempt after making third attempt at 18.4.5. So that's a nice relief feeling. This is almost a free effort. He's won the competition. The bar is very high. He has managed to figure out what's going on down there better than anybody else. And here he goes. He's already the winner. Third and final attempt at 19 feet a quarter inch for the junior from South Alabama. And he makes a reasonably good attempt at it. But there is your winner, Kyle Redemeyer of South Alabama, with a clearance of 18.8 and a quarter on his first attempt. All right, back to the 10,000 meters. They're coming up with 18 laps remaining. So we will step aside for a moment and come back with more of our coverage of this final event when we return.
Conditions for the javelin. There you see the records. Like I said, some familiar faces. Mark Minicello, he won the Mount Sac Relays, won the SEC title. This is your defending outdoor champion. And in the second round, he would send one out there. Nobody's thrown as far as Patrick Bowden has on this stadium for years and years, but he'd go 253.6 and take the early lead. All right, we'll stay in the SEC, and certainly remember this guy, Zuriel Padigo. At the regional championships, he was all but left for dead, and on the final throw, he'd go from 13th to 1st, and he'd find himself here at the NCAA championships again, and in the third round, he'd go 261.9, and he would take the lead and set the standard out there. Now everybody was chasing him. And here in the third round, Chinicheram Namandi, the 2021 World Under-20 bronze medalist, would launch one out there just inside the 260-foot line. He'd go 2:57.1, and he would move into second position. Still, everybody continues to chase Padigo. And in the fourth round, the Virginia senior, Ethan Dabbs, trying to work his way up into medal contention once again. The 2022 ACC champ and NCAA runner-up. He would dig deep and launch one out there again, just short of that line. He'd go 260 feet 1 inches, and he would finish in second position, just 18 inches short of Zuriel Padigo. And Padigo would come home with another NCAA title after almost not qualifying to be here.
Back to the 10,000 meters, coming up on 14 laps remaining. Hey, Shames.
And through the 4,000 meter mark, they were at 11:15 on 28:07 pace. And one athlete that looks well positioned right now is Patrick Kiprop of Arkansas. He's been hanging out right there in second position behind Rodriguez, really running relaxed. And Dylan Jacobs has now moved into third. That's Victor Kiprop of Alabama. As you can see, the athletes have the option of grabbing some water on the backstretch because of these very toasty conditions that they're enduring. Also moving really well through this part of the race. That's Kai Robinson from Stanford. There you see Rodriguez, followed by Patrick Kiprop and Dylan Jacobs. Patrick Kiprop has really raced sparingly this outdoor season. Ran a 10K at Stanford, then ran the 5,000 at the SEC Championships, and then a 10K at regional. Arkansas head coach Chris Bucknam says that they really just wanted to be sure that they didn't over-race, with the sights set on contending for an NCAA 10K title. And Patrick Kiprop is running with a chip on his shoulder. Really feels like that he gets often overlooked and is looking to earn the respect and receive the respect in this event, and certainly looks well poised to do so right now. Dylan Jacobs incredibly comfortable. They threw in a couple of quick 400s just a few laps ago, right around 66 seconds. And now they've started to settle in and get comfortable as they head into the backstretch.
Let's shift very quickly over to the shot put. Turner Washington of Arizona State, leading the competition at 69 feet a half inch. This is his final throw. That is not going to be an improvement, but he's still leading. In fact, if they reversed the order, no, they did not, did they? They did. He's the winner. That was, so it was a foul, but he was it was a freebie for him anyway. He's the only one over 21 meters in the field as we come around with now 12 laps remaining in this 10K.
And Isai Rodriguez has just continued to lead the majority of this race. He has been up front since the very beginning. Oklahoma State coach Dave Smith said on his best days he can run with the best, and he's looking to show that right here. He said he does not panic, has incredible belief in himself, and just no performance anxiety. Grabs a little water there off to the side. He described that as a superpower that Rodriguez has. He has looked, despite doing all the work up front, still looking incredibly comfortable. They're in first position. Kiprop in second of Arkansas, Jacobs of Tennessee, and now Kai Robinson has moved up into the conversations, and it is above 80 degrees at this point. It is 81 degrees with 61% humidity. And when you think about the conditions that Kai Robinson ran the World Cross Country Championships this year, it was in Australia. It was hot, humid, windy conditions, so not greatly unlike what he's experienced here. He was 23rd at the World Cross Country Championships earlier this year. That was back in February. The top Australian, the second collegian among that field.
All right, with a little less than 11 laps remaining, we will step aside once again. Lots of racing still left here in this 10,000 meters. Don't go anywhere. Back in Austin for more of the NCAA Track and Field Championships. When they come around, there'll be 8 laps remaining in this 10,000 meters. But moments ago, in the shot put, after we announced that Turner Washington of Arizona State was leading with 69 feet a half inch, here's Jordan Geist. You might remember he was third in the hammer earlier today. Here he is in the shot put. And on his 6th and final throw, he bests Turner's best effort by a silly 2 centimeters, 3/4 of an inch, out to 69 feet 1 1/4. Good position, pushed right through the ball, and he needed all of it. 6th round, that's the way you want to do it. So Jordan Geist, 3rd in the hammer and 1st here in the shot put. All right, 7.5 plus laps remaining in this 10,000 meters. And the crowd, the lead group is starting to thin out a bit, but still a dozen people there, almost a dozen people. Kiprop looking very good. Dylan Jacobs still looking just fine. A lot of contenders for this title.
Absolutely. Everyone is in the conversation right now. The last few laps have hovered right around 70 seconds. It's been 69.6 and 70.4. As you see, Rodriguez continues to lead. It looks like he glanced up just a little bit at that video board to see exactly how much of a lead that he has been able to build. And then you see that's where Dylan Jacobs is just ahead of Bob Liking of Wisconsin as they go into 7 laps remaining in this race.
I hadn't seen Dylan Jacobs' face for a few laps, and now I can see that he is suffering. He is well off the lead group, probably about 13th place, the defending champion, having a tough time dealing with these conditions.
And then in 3rd position, worth noting, that is Casey Klinger of BYU, directly behind Kiprop of Arkansas. And this is very much like how Casey Klinger ran at the regional meet. He hung back, worked his way up very gradually, and then worked pretty hard behind the finish of the race to get himself into position. Ed Eyestone, the message to Casey Klinger was conserve, position yourself, and kick. He said this will be a race of attrition, and Casey Klinger appears to have endured that pretty well to have himself among the top 3 with 6 laps to go. And if you remember, the last time the NCAA championship was here in Austin, BYU had 6 athletes in the men's 10K final, and they went on to finish 1, 3, and 4. So Austin has served BYU well. In fact, Ed Eyestone won one of his own, actually 2 of his own NCAA championships in Austin. Pulled off the 5K, 10K double titles back in 1985 here in Austin. That continues to be Rodriguez up front, and they have quickened 68, 68, 69. So now they're consistently below 70 seconds.
All right, let's transition over to the long jump runway, where there are a couple of Razorbacks in contention. In fact, they're leading. That's how much in contention they are. Wayne Pinnock, the sophomore from Arkansas, currently in 2nd place with a 26.9 best of the day. They're in the 6th and final round. Kerry McLeod, who is certainly no stranger to being at the top of the leaderboard. You may remember back in 2021 when Javon Harrison of LSU was winning every long jump and every high jump competition all year long, 4 NCAA titles. But in the SEC Outdoor Championships at Texas A&M, Kerry McLeod beat Javon Harrison in the long jump when he was competing for Tennessee. Now competing for Arkansas. The senior popped a 27-foot 1 1/4 mark in the very first round, effectively icing a lot of the competition. They crawled their way back. Pinnock getting up to 26.9, but he's got to get better than that. He's got to find another 11 plus centimeters if he wants to overtake his teammate. But that's 18 points that the Razorbacks are looking at in the long jump.
Rodriguez, Klinger, 1, 2, and 3.
What an advantage for Pinnock to be able to train every day with Kerry McLeod. Sixth and final attempt. Trying to make his second place into a first place. Hits the board nicely. That's going to be a fair jump. I don't know if that's an improvement, though. That doesn't look like a 27-foot jump based on that measurement board. So Coach Chris Bucknam has to love this. His two Razorbacks, 1-2 in the long jump.
And you know what else he's going to love? Kiprop going up front and taking the lead as we have about 3.5 laps to go. That most recent lap was 69 seconds. This would be huge for Arkansas to get points, get big points in the 10,000 meters to get the ball rolling for their team title hopes. But Rodriguez has not gone away. He has responded incredibly well. And also worth noting, look who is right up there in the mix. The Stanford Cardinal, Charles Hicks, the NCAA cross-country champion, wearing the headband there. And everyone is in the thick of it at this point of the race. You've got 8, 9 guys who are right up there. This is going to turn out to be 9 guys. Thank you for the quick math, Dwight Stones. This is going to come down to an absolute brawl over the final 3 laps. Somebody has to make a move. Somebody's got to get bold and do something. And Rodriguez does that, squeaks by on the rail.
And they're going to start to lap runners, some of whom will move out, some of whom will not. 2.5 laps remaining. Kiprop now dropping back a bit and on the rail. Everybody just jockeying for position. You see how it's bunched up a bit. They've slowed it down, getting ready for these final 1,000 meters, which they're in right now. Rodriguez continuing to lead this group, which he has done for many laps. 2 laps remaining now. The time is really inconsequential. They started out running around 27-25. Now they're going to be likely over 28 minutes. Well, they will absolutely be over 28 minutes. Lots of 69s and 68s over the course of the last several laps. The heat really starting to take its toll. It really did so many, many laps ago.
Look at the response from Rodriguez. Mora tries to go around him as he was up front. These two have been in the mix, in the lead at the beginning, and now here with just over 2 laps to go. I don't know that anyone looks better right now than Charles Hicks, and he has his teammate Kai Robinson along for the ride right with him. Hicks looking incredibly poised as Robinson makes a move and goes to the front.
A bold move of the Stanford Cardinal there in first and third as they're coming to the bell lap. Kai Robinson, the junior from Australia, now in his sprint. Rodriguez covering the move.
63 seconds for that last lap.
Charles Hicks right there. Now he goes into second. It is the Cardinal 1-2. The fact that Rodriguez doing all that work for all those laps finally taking its toll. Robinson in a full sprint. Hicks trying to catch him. He definitely has another gear. And they are pulling away from the crowd. 18 points for the Cardinal if it continues to finish this way. Kai Robinson. And Charles Hicks, 1-2 in the 10,000 meters for Stanford.
What a blazing finish! The embrace between the teammates after a 54-second close. 1:57, last 800 meters for Kai Robinson and Charles Hicks. During the the cross-country season, Charles Hicks was the first Stanford runner to win an NCAA individual cross-country title, and now Kai Robinson captures the 10,000-meter title.
We just watched Arkansas go 1-2 in the long jump, and a couple of minutes later, Stanford goes 1-2 in the 10K. Brad Hauser was the last Stanford Cardinal to win this title at the NCAA championships almost a quarter of a century ago.
Just a perfectly executed race. Look how much fun Kai Robinson is having as he celebrates that victory and carries Charles Hicks along with him. Glances over the shoulder, glances at the video board, stretches out the arms in victory. Kai Robinson, absolutely incredible.
King Ches and Eric Jenkins went 1-2 for Oregon back in 2015, 8 years ago. That was the 10K. It's the final. When we come back, it's the men's 4x4s.